आपण माने समस्त जानते जे सॉइल इज अ वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट एंड वाइटल पार्ट ऑफ आवर एंटायर इकोसिस्टम समग्र जीव जगत को बंचाई रखिबा पई हेले मृत्तिकार सुरक्षा केते गुरुत्वपूर्ण एक कथा आम माने समस्ते कोठना कोठी हृदयंगम निश्चित भाव में करती अनुभव भी करती उद्भिद बंचिबा बढ़िबा पई माटीर आवश्यकता रही एवं जदि आम देखा इनफैक्ट सॉइल प्लेज ए वेरी इंपोर्टेंट रोल रेगुलेटिंग द क्लाइमेट ऑफ द रीजन जमती अम्लजान बिना उद्भिद एवं प्राणी जगत बंचिबा तिष्ठिबा बड़ कष्टकर मृत्तिका बिना उद्भिदर स्थिति को मध्य आमे जदि कल्पना करबा सी भी बड़ कष्टकर एवं कहबार अर्थ होची जे मृत्तिकार सुरक्षा करबा आममानकर समस्तंकर दायित्व एवं कोठी ना कोठी आजिर ए पीढ़ी धीरे धीरे कथा को हृदयंगम करबा मध्य आरंभ कर दैछंती। आज ए संपर्क रे आमे आलोचना करबा ईशा फाउंडेशन मुख्य सद्गुरु जगदेश जगी वासुदेव का सहित ए बाबद्रे ही वर्चुअल मोड रे डिस्कशन करिसंती ओटीवी रो को फाउंडर एमडी जगी मंगत पंडा वर्चुअल मोड रे से डिस्कशन से साक्षात्कार को तो आमे निश्चित भाव देखा कि पूर्व मु रिक्वेस्ट करी आम टेक्निकल टीम को इफ दे कैन प्ले एन एवी व्हिच इज देयर जोटा कि उद्भिद बा मृत्तिका संरक्षण एवं तार उपादेयता संपर्क रे किछि आम मानकु जणैब से एवीटी को प्ले करबा पई मु कहबी परवर्ती समय आम साक्षात्कार को निश्चित देखा।
We are talking about climate change, carbon emissions, and global warming and various other aspects. But we are not addressing soil. Soil is the habitat upon which zillions of lives thrive. Once there is no richness in soil, then you have forsaken the planet in many ways. Every responsible scientist in the world and the UN agencies are clearly saying we have only 80 to 100 harvests left. That means approximately 45 to 50 years of agricultural soil left on the planet. By 2045, we will be producing 40% less food than what we are producing right now, and our populations will be 9.3 billion people. The food shortages that could manifest in the next 25 years, the consequences of that is unimaginable. Civil wars will unfold across the world once there is food shortage. What we are facing now is soil extinction. Why is soil becoming extinct? Where is it going away? What is happening to our soil? We must understand, if you add organic content to sand, sand will turn into soil. If you remove all organic content from the soil, soil will become sand. In normal agricultural soil, the minimum organic content should be between 3 to 6%. The most minimum is 3%. At least this minimum to keep the soil alive, to keep the soil as living soil is a must. Agricultural soils across the world, the depletion is so heavy. In most countries, more than 50% of the topsoil is already gone in the last 100 years. The nutrient levels have dropped significantly. The level of micronutrients you would get from your food in early 20th century to what you are getting from the same food now has dropped 90%. If you ate one orange in 1920s, what you got from it, now in 2020, if you have to get the same, you will have to eat 8 oranges. This is what we have done to our food.
सद्गुरु नाम ही परिचय आध्यात्मवाद माध्यमरे मानव जीवन को दिग्दर्शन देबारे केवल भारत कहीं सारा विश्व रे एक परिचित नाम। जड़े सत्यनिष्ठ योगी, दार्शनिक, आध्यात्मवादी कवि, जीवनधर्मी लेखक, मार्गदर्शी वक्ता भावे विश्ववासी निकटरे से बेश जनाशुना। खाली आध्यात्मवाद नुहे, व्यावसायिक क्षेत्र आरंभ करी स्थापत्य कला, चित्रकला, क्रीड़ा, विमान उड़ाण, मोटर स्पोर्ट्स जाए सबुथिरे सिद्धहस्त सद्गुरु। विशेषकर परिवेश संतुलन और मूर्तिका संरक्षण उपरे तांको निरंतर उद्यम जोड़ी देछि एही महान व्यक्तित्वों को महानतारे आउ एक फर्द। 3 दशंधि तले तांको द्वारा प्रतिष्ठित अनुष्ठान ईशा फाउंडेशन एबे समग्र विश्व रे 300 रु ऊर्ध्व केन्द्र माध्यम रे मानव सेवा जारी रखिछि। एही अनुष्ठान रे 11 नियुतरु ऊर्ध्व स्वेच्छासेवी निरंतर सेवारत। देशर 50 जन प्रभावशाली व्यक्तित्वों मध्यरे अन्यतम सद्गुरु को इतिमध्यरे मिली सारिछि भारतर सम्मानजनक पद्म विभूषण उपाधि।
Thank you very much for the beautiful audiovisual. When broadcasting and media magnet from the East speaks to the saint from far South who has the simplest answers to all your difficult questions, that is a conversation you would not want to miss, because that's going to be absolutely insightful and interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for this very special session where Srimati Jagi Mangat Panda will be speaking to Padma Vibhushan Sadhguruji. We recorded it some time before. Trust me, this is going to be quite enlightening. Let's have the session.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Namaskaram.
How are you?
I'm very well. So many years since I saw you.
No, I know. And it's amazing that now we are seeing each other like this virtually. Although it would have been wonderful.
I just bumped into Jay 4 days ago.
He did mention that. He did mention that to me. And he said that you even remembered that you were having this conversation with me soon. So I said, that's wonderful.
I've always been feeling, not so good about… We cancelled or postponed some conversations with you 2-3 times. I'm very sorry, I usually…
No, I can understand you're busy doing so many things, so many new initiatives, and you're constantly on the move. And this new initiative, of course, is mind-boggling to me, of course. I'm so happy that you gave us time to talk to us today. Although we would have been ecstatic if you had been here physically, but I understand that you're occupied with your new initiative, Save Soil. Having said…
I'm planning to come to Odisha and do the Bali Yatra physically.
Oh, that'll be wonderful.
Not just the paper boat, real boat. I want to do that Yatra, I'm thinking about
that'll be fantastic. That'll be fantastic. Do let us know if there's anything we can do to help you succeed in that process. Because I think, again, that'll be one other very innovative initiative of yours. So, well, having said that, you have been busy with your new initiative and hence you couldn't come to Bhubaneswar. Let me start with my first question to you, which is on the subject of Save Soil. So from saving rivers, water, planting trees, and now this new initiative of Save Soil, your focus has always been to increase the consciousness among people across the globe about the environment we live in. And this time, of course, you plan to do something that is quite unthinkable for people like us. Just the scale of the initiative is so large. Traveling 30,000 kilometers alone from London to India, covering almost 26 countries in 4 months is a tall order, I must say, on a motorcycle. And so I understand that it is important that such an important initiative like Save Soil requires a big effort and to get the desired traction. But my question is not why, but how. So my question is, what made you choose this path? Or should I say that what made you choose this back-breaking journey?
Well, I hope it doesn't break my back. And about this new initiative, it's not a new initiative because, see, people are thinking water, air, soil are different things.
Right.
That's not how nature works. It is one cycle of things. It is probably in 95 or 96, when some UN agencies came and predicted in Tamil Nadu that, by 2025, 60% of Tamil Nadu could become desert.
Right.
I didn't like predictions, so I drove myself to see if this is for real. Then I saw it may not go till 2025, it may happen sooner, because 3 perennial rivers had gone totally dry, and bore wells where we were striking water in 150 to 200 feet beneath the ground, were going to 1100, 1200 feet beneath the ground, and palm trees were dropping their crowns. So I saw this is definitely coming, and that's when we started what is called as Project Green Hands, out of which millions of trees have been planted by our volunteers, living trees, because these are not on government lands, these are on farm lands where farmers are taking care of it, and it is an economic process for the farmer. Plus many other organizations and the state government also has planted many more million trees. So as a whole movement, we have increased the green cover significantly in Tamil Nadu. But according to Google Maps, Google Images, it shows somewhere around 10 to 11% increase in green cover has happened since that day.
Wow.
So even then it was about soil, but we spoke about trees, we spoke about farming, and well, we talked about Rally for Rivers, because we must understand, in a tropical country, only in our country, in India, only 4% of river water is from melting ice. 96% is just monsoon rain. When monsoon rain comes, whatever… normally these days monsoon rains are happening anywhere between 70 to 110 days of rainfall in a year. This must flow for 365 days. If it has to flow for 365 days, soil must have a certain amount of organic content. Only then it can retain the water and let it go slowly. Otherwise, everything will flow on the surface. This is what is beginning to happen right now. People are always wondering, last time even when the Kerala flood happened, people said, Sadhguru, how is this possible? 2 months ago, there was such a flood, it looked like a deluge, but suddenly there is a drought. I said, these two things are naturally connected.
Right.
See, when the water comes down in the form of rain, it must percolate down into the ground.
Right.
If it is running on the surface, you call it a flood. If it runs off on the surface, within 2 to 3 months, drought is inevitable.
Right.
It is bound to come, because one thing is it's taken off the topsoil, another thing is it's not sunk in where it should be. If we handle the soil properly, we can store 8 times more, that is 800% more water than all the rivers on the planet put together in the soil. That is the capacity of the soil. If you go into a rainforest where organic content may be 60–70%, if you just… any season in the year, like any month of the year, if you just dig with your fingers, not with any implement, just 2–3 inches if you do like this, it'll be damp. So if you do this to your agriculture land, I'm saying if you increase your organic content to 8 to 10%, then your irrigation requirements in the country and in the world will come down by 70%. Only 30% water you can manage the same level of crops. If you increase your organic content to 12 to 15%, you can bring down the irrigation requirement to 10 to 15% of what we are using right now. So soil, water, air, these are not different things. One thing that most people probably living in urban centers, they don't look at it this way is, see, right now a tree is growing. It is not growing only because of the nutrients from the soil. Most of its growth is because of the carbon capture that it is doing from the atmosphere and the humidity that it's taking from the atmosphere. But it has to make that carbon and put it down into the earth for it to exchange nutrients with the microbial life there. So these are not different things, these are not different initiatives, it's the same initiative, we're just enhancing the scale. What was a local program at one time, we made it national with Rally for Rivers. Now we are in Kaveri calling, transforming a whole river basin, which is about 83,000 square kilometers. Based on the success of this Kaveri calling, we have formed a very good partnership or alliance with UN agencies, 2–3 UN important agencies, which is why now we thought we will go global, because when it comes to ecology, national boundaries mean nothing. The life, the microbial life and the biodiversity is not respecting your national boundaries. Earth is earth, soil is soil, it is all connected, so we cannot address ecological situations in terms of nationality or anything that way. Geography is not… only in our minds it's broken, in reality it is not broken.
Yes.
About my back breaking, Well, this is also a test for the yogic sciences whether yoga works or not. Well, I'm 65 years of age, I shouldn't be doing anything like this. I could live comfortably by myself, but
No.
I'm doing this because as a generation,
Right.
we are in a cusp of time.
Right.
Right now, if we act, in the next 10 to 15 or 20 years' time,
Right.
we can make a significant turnaround. Still, we are in that place. But let us say we let it pass for another 30 to 40 years. After 40 years, if you try to turn it back, the loss of biodiversity, the way it is happening, most of the FAO scientists are saying on an average, 27,000 species are going extinct per year.
Wow.
At this rate, in 40 years' time, we would have reached a place where if we want to turn around the soil, it will take 150 to 200 years, which will be a disaster for human civilizations on the planet. So, as a generation, we have a responsibility, we need a commitment, and above all, I also see it as a privilege that we as a generation are in a cusp of time, that if we have the necessary commitment and courage to make this happen, we can turn this around. It's not some rocket science, it can be done. But if we allow this to go to the next generation, they will not be able to turn it around because it would have reached that point where turning it around is very difficult. So I'm just trying to do my bit before I'm no good for anything.
No, you'll always be good for something. So, no, wow, those are really alarming facts. I'm sure this information that you shared with us, many of us are not even aware of this. But I must say that we are very fortunate that we have someone like you who's leading this initiative, someone with your stature. Because the enormity of this task that you're about to partake in is an amazing first start. I think it's a great beginning to this great initiative. But my question is, what next? Because people have short memories. Once you move on, they will move on too. Since we are all creatures of habit, we will be back to our mindless living unless this new order becomes a habit too. I'm sure you'll agree with that.
See, what the movement is trying to achieve is just this. The movement is trying to bring a policy change in 192 democratically elected governments in the world.
Right.
Why this policy change? People keep asking me, Sadhguru, what can I do? Can I fix my garden? Can I go plant a tree? I said, don't do anything. When you are a citizen in a democratic nation, there are two things which are very powerful, your vote and your voice. Your vote, I do not know whether you cast it or not, but your voice is important. Today, everybody has a voice because of technology, because of social media platforms. I'm saying use your voice. What we want people to do is, from 21st of March, for 100 days, everybody speak about soil. At least spend 5–10 minutes a day to speak about soil, enhance the message, and we have a way of aggregating all these voices, and if it is over 3 to 3.5 billion people, that means 60% of the electorate has spoken. We are already in the process of writing to all the heads of state. We are sending a soil policy document, 100 ways or hundreds of ways as to how to regenerate soil in different regions, different soil types, different latitudinal positions, different economic conditions and different farming traditions. In all this, how to do, for each country we are writing a recommendation policy, which we are handing it over to all the heads of state through the United Nations. And apart from that, we are also writing to 730 political parties on the planet. We are urging them to make soil and ecology part of their election manifestos, part of their manifestos to whatever they wish to do, because it doesn't get in there, then it's not going to happen. For this to happen, see, after all, political parties and governments are trying to fulfill people's mandate.
Right.
So people have to speak. Till now, people have never spoken. So people have to speak. If 3 to 3.5 billion raise their voice and say, save soil at least once, this means political parties and governments cannot ignore that. They will not ignore the voice of 60% of the electorate, nobody will do that. So that's what we're trying to achieve. So what is next? Will we just leave it at this? No. We are signing MOUs with various nations. Even before I start the rally, I'm signing MOUs with about 9 nations in the Caribbean islands and those regions. And similar things will be done with many small nations. The big nations will know what to do, many of them are already beginning to do, plus we will urge them to do further. So I'm spending probably a month in South America meeting all the heads of state, another month in Africa meeting a whole lot of people, and another month in Australia and Asia, because we want to handhold small countries, and we are also establishing a group of 25-member scientific committee of, of people who are knowledgeable about this, who can handhold small nations to go through the transformation. If by then if UN agencies and governments and other financing bodies, if they handhold the small nations, very easily it will happen. We will see, but the most important thing is, it must go into the policy. Why it must go into the policy is, see today you have, let us say, 100 acres of land, you are keeping it really well. What the next generation will do, you do not know, unless it goes into the policy. Only if it's in the policy, it will be maintained for generations to come, and that is what we are trying to achieve. Once we get into the policy, depending upon the direness of the situation, how bad the situation is, accordingly different nations will act at different speed. But no nation will go without acting once it is in this policy. Speed may vary from nation to nation depending upon various realities of that particular nation.
Right. I think you've done a lot of groundwork, I see, and that's excellent. May I just shift the focus to the topic for Foresight today? As you know, today's Foresight topic is the New World Order, winners and the disadvantaged. So just a little bit from the COVID experience, the consequences that were derived from COVID-19, as you're aware, are not just the virus itself, but it is the grief of waking up and to realize that the lifestyle that we have been evolved living in is unable to cope with the pandemic. And that what is happening now was predictable. In fact, a lot of experts had predicted in the past. So I think fortunately many people today have realized that if we do not make a conscious choice to change our course of action, whether individually or collectively, we will get more of the same. So I think my question here is, then does COVID then give us an opportunity, the COVID experience, to build that conscious planet that we want to do and build it now, since this momentum will not last too long?
Every situation is an opportunity to change if you are conscious. Every situation that you face, pleasant or unpleasant, you can use that. Unfortunately, people have lost lives. Nearly 6 million plus lives have been lost on the planet because of this COVID. That is an unfortunate situation. I don't know anybody around me who has not lost somebody that they knew, a friend or family, almost everybody has lost someone. But those of us who are alive, who lived through this, we are crying about our lifestyle.
Right.
We should stop crying about lifestyle, all that will happen. Well, anyway, once again, India's economy is surging, and because of, whatever, because people strive harder when things go bad, so I think that striving is paying off. And I think the administrations are also doing the right things, so it is all paying off. And as a nation with 1.3 billion people, I think we have come out of it spectacularly well compared to many much more developed, economically much more capable nations. Compared to them, we have come out very well. And the way we have produced vaccines and the way we've administered that to an entire population is
commendable, yes.
For the rest of the world, it's quite a miracle, the way we've done it, because you don't see that kind of medical infrastructure on the ground, but somehow people have done it. Everybody has stood up and made it happen, from the lowest level of worker, from the… in the medical teams and the administrative teams, from the lowest cadre to the highest, I think everybody has stood up and done what they have done. I think we need to hugely appreciate that, because, we were active in the villages. What I saw was, from a police constable to a village accountant to everybody, suddenly they were transformed human beings. They were all functioning with such sense of service which we have never seen before in them. So that was really great to see that when really difficulties came, their humanity became the most important quality in them, not the other aspects of their life.
Right.
So that's great, but at the same time, one thing that COVID has done is it has hung mortality in our face.
Yes.
Mortality is always hanging in front of us, but most people think they're immortal.
Yes. Unfortunately.
But COVID has made mortality very obvious because people around us started dying.
Right.
And when mortality comes into your awareness, when you understand you're mortal, that means the way you know yourself right now could end right now or tomorrow morning or whatever. When you realize that, that is when you will really start seeking what is beyond this. What is beyond this physical body? What is beyond this social engagement that I have? When that question comes, that is when you turn spiritual. Spiritual process is always relevant only because somebody realizes that they are mortal.
Right.
See, suppose you and me were not mortal, we are here forever.
Forever, yes.
What would spirituality mean to us? Nothing. So mortality is an important thing. That is the fundamental fact of our life. When an individual human being realizes that, definitely there will be evolution of seeking within oneself. I think in many ways that has happened. We did our best in those times to reach out to the world and offer these possibilities, and millions of people have taken to this. Just to give you some sense of the seeking that has happened in the world. In the year 2020, our video views, just one organization, our video views, just me, one person, all right? Our video views have been 2.48 billion.
Wow.
B,
Wow.
not M.
Yes, that's a huge number.
This
yeah.
is because there is a longing, there is a seeking. Suddenly people realize the simple things, petty things they were fighting for suddenly is meaningless. They have to look for something more profound, which is a good thing, but it need not come this way. Disasters need not strike for us to come to our senses. I hope people come to senses without inviting disasters.
No, well, it's happened, so we must make the best of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
We must find that silver lining, and I think your initiative…
What life throws at us
Yes, and…
is not always our choice, but what we make out of it is always our choice. We must make 100% choice about
Absolutely.
that.
So I think your new initiative comes at the right time then, because, you know, we are still kind of,
No, you
getting
should not say
forward.
new initiative, same
The
initiative.
same initiative, but the large initiative.
We're just changing gears, that's all.
That's the wonderful initiative, I should say. You know, I come from a business background, so I'm constantly actually, whenever I see an initiative, especially like this one, I'm constantly thinking as to how we as a business community can contribute to this cause, of course, other than the usual CSRs and all that. And you know, the whole idea of investing in something like this, it's a long-term investment. And you know, since long-term investments are needed to make any change to the key areas of soil health, is it possible for us to make a compelling business case for investing in soil health, which may secure a broader engagement of the business community to take action on this issue on a very large scale? Because that's probably what is required, considering all the facts and the numbers that I saw. They're absolutely mind-boggling.
Well, yes, very much possible. I could articulate this for hours for you, but right now I would request all businesses to focus on this one to enhance the message. You don't have to support me.
Right.
All you have to do is from March 21st, in a concerted way, all of us speak about soil. Just make the message as big as possible. Only then you will have the needed policies. When the policies are there, then business communities can see how to participate. We have a whole plan as to how individual businesses can participate, or as groups of confederations or other things can participate. But individual businesses can make a business case out of this. I'm saying it can be very, very profitable for industry and business to get into this. There are many ways. I don't want to say this in without the necessary detail because it may not make sense to people, but there are many ways in which one can make a very good business case, a long-term business well-being, a long-term investment, and extraordinarily good returns, and above all, ecologically enriching.
Right. So wow, it was really wonderful just talking about this. Like you said, we can keep talking about this issue because it is a very vital and large issue. But I must invite you once again to Odisha. As you know, we also have rivers here that are drying up, and perhaps maybe a little bit focus on Odisha will help. Just before I end, I want to thank you one more time for taking the time to talk to us. And I'm sure that just hearing you, just listening to what you said, I get a sense that this initiative will be very successful because of the kind of efforts that you're putting in. I do wish you all the best, and I hope that all the people who are listening to you will feel the same way and take action on this.
Thank you very much, and I definitely been planning to come to Odisha when I'm a little more free. Apart from doing work, I just want to come to Odisha because of Konark and Bhubaneswar.
You must
I'm very interested. As I said, I'm also talking to somebody about the Bali Yatra, if that takes shape.
That will absolutely
we will do that.
Be fantastic.
And about reaching out to the people, about the Oriya people participating in this, as I'm riding these 100 days, I'm available. Even when I'm riding, I can broadcast a video and audio. So, every day if you publish some 2 minutes, 3 minutes of this for the people in Odisha,
we'd love to.
I think we can activate the whole state. Definitely, it will be my pleasure to be participating in this. I will learn a few words from Oriya language.
We would really like that too, yes. I think…
You must translate me, that's the only problem.
Of course, no, we will do that. We will definitely do that. But
thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, Jai Jagannath. Jai Jagannath.
Namaskar.
Namaskaram.
Thank you very much, Sadhguru, for sharing with us your thoughtful insights. I think Save the Soil shouldn't just be Sadhguru's mission, it should be everyone's mission. And in 21st century, being grounded shouldn't only mean being humble, it should also mean respecting the soil, the ground you stand on, and you are dependent for your very own existence. Thank you very much, and thank you, Srimati Jagi Mangat Pandaji, for those thoughtful questions and for bringing to us such a special session that we will remember for years. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Padma Vibhushan, Sadhguru and Srimati Jagi Mangat Panda. What a brilliant session that was.